Hello and good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, May 22nd, 2021, 9 p.m. Eastern. It is time for our next installment of Star Trek Radio Theater. And this episode here on Live Long and Podcast will be the original series this week. We're doing Journey to Babel from Season 2, Episode 15. This aired in 1967, a story by D.C. Fontana. This will be our 15th episode in Season 2 here for Star Trek Radio Theater. And I guess this is our 40th episode, everybody. Woohoo. Exciting. Overall. Yay. We also have Jessica and Michael Chan back with us this week. We're very excited to have the gang all back together. And yes, yay. And we'll introduce everybody afterwards, but until then, we hope you enjoy the show. We're gonna come off camera. And cue the music, Dave. Where is it?
We focus on Kirk's quarters. Kirk is looking in the mirror, fussing about with his uniform. McCoy is pulling at his collar and whining like a toddler who's been forced to wear a suit and tie. Their uniforms are different. The material is shiny, and the collars are sparkly.
Dress uniform, spit and polish. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stay in this. I feel like my neck's in a sling.
The Vulcans are the last delegates we have to pick up. As soon as we get them aboard, we'll be able to have the most amazing filet mignon and relax.
Kirk is done preening. They leave his quarters. We focus on the corridor.
Sure, a formal reception tonight and 114 delegates aboard for 2 weeks, 32 of them ambassadors.
Spock comes from another corridor and has joined them.
Half of them mad at the other half and a whole lot touchier than a raw antimatter pile over this cord in question.
Gordon Ramsay here. I mean Kirk here.
Shuttlecraft approaching with Ambassador Sarek's party.
Bring them up.
Just say your line. Finish it.
Estimate arrival 1 minute.
Sorry for jumping on your line. Bring them aboard, Mr. Chekov.
Stand by to recover shuttlecraft. Honor guard to the hangar deck.
We focus on the hangar deck. The shuttlecraft is arriving. The honor guard are outside the doors, fixing themselves up and trying to look presentable. Clear hangar deck. Clear hangar deck. Depressurizing. Recovering shuttlecraft. Hangar deck pressurizing. The guard enter the hangar bay, line up, and hold their phasers across their chests with their arms crossed. It's all a bit weird, and I'm glad Starfleet stopped doing it.
Now, how does that Vulcan salute go?
As the delegates leave the Galileo, Spock demonstrates the salute. McCoy attempts to copy and is unable.
That hurt worse than the uniform.
A couple are escorted from the shuttlecraft. The man stops to greet the captain.
Chef Gordon Ramsay.
Captain.
My sous chef, Commander Spock.
Vulcan honors with your presence. We come to serve.
Spock greets the ambassador with a Vulcan salute. The ambassador looks at Spock for a brief moment and then turns back to Kirk, not bothering to return the salutation.
Your service honors us, Captain.
Thank you, Chief Medical Officer Dr. McCoy.
Ambassador.
Doctor.
Sarek pulls his hand up and greets McCoy with a Vulcan salute. So much disrespect for Spock.
My aides, and she who is my wife.
A woman and a couple of young Vulcans walk up. Sarek's wife comes to stand beside him, and they touch fingers with each other.
Captain Kirk.
Our pleasure, my dear. As soon as you're settled, I'll arrange a tour of the ship. My sous chef, Mr. Spock, will conduct you.
I'd prefer another chef, Captain.
As you wish, Ambassador. Mr. Spock, we'll leave in 2 hours. Would you care to beam down and visit your parents?
Captain, Ambassador Sarek and his wife are my parents.
What happened? Space.
Just go with it.
The final frontier. These are the culinary voyages of the starship Enterprise. It's 5-year mission, you donkey! To explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new culinary civilizations. This is Gordon Ramsay Uncharted. To boldly go where no man has gone before. Chef's log, stardate 3842.3. We have departed Vulcan for the neutral planetoid, codenamed Bay Bait. Since it's in our sector, the Enterprise has been assigned to transport ambassadors of Federation planets to this vitally important council. The issues of the council are politically complex, and the passengers explosive.
We focus on engineering. Kirk is conducting Sarek and Amanda's tour himself. Spock is doing something in engineering when they enter.
This is the engineering section. It's where we cook all the food. There are a number of emergency backup systems for the main controls. Over here are a number of control computers.
Amanda lags behind to talk with her son.
After all these years among humans, you still haven't learned to smile.
Humans smile with so little provocation.
And you haven't come to see us in 4 years either.
The situation between my father and myself has not changed.
Sarek calls over from the other side of engineering.
My wife, attend.
She leaves Spock and joins her husband. Apparently, a mother can't even talk to her own son. Not cool, Sarek.
Mr. Spock, a moment, if you please.
Spock walks over to join the group.
Yes, Captain.
First, finish the remoulade, then explain the computer components.
I gave Spock his first introduction in computers and culinary knowledge, chef. He chose to devote his knowledge to Hell's Kitchen instead of the Vulcan Culinary Academy.
If you will excuse me, Captain.
Spock leaves.
I'm sorry, Ambassador. I did not mean to offend. I thought that...
Offense is a human emotion. I'm returning to my quarters. Continue, my wife.
Sarek leaves.
Bye.
Mrs. Sarek, I don't understand. Why can't we get through to him?
Amanda, I'm afraid you couldn't pronounce the Vulcan name.
Can you?
After a fashion, after many years of practice. Shall we continue the tour? My husband did request it.
It sounded more like a command.
Of course. He's Vulcan. I'm his wife.
And Spock, is his son.
You don't understand the Vulcan way, Captain. It's logical. It's a better way than ours. But it's not easy. It has kept Spock and Sarek from speaking as father and son for 18 years.
Spock is my best officer, you donkey! And my friend.
I'm glad he's such a friend. It hasn't been easy on Spock. Neither human nor Vulcan. At home nowhere except Starfleet.
I take it that if Spock disagreed with his father on a choice of career, maybe culinary.
My husband has nothing against Starfleet. But Vulcans believe that peace should not depend on force.
Screw Starfleet. He needs to go after Michelin stars. Starfleet force is used only as a last resort. We're an instrument of civilization. And it's better opportunity for a scientist to study the universe that he can get at the Vulcan Science Academy or maybe the Cordon Bleu.
Perhaps. But Sarek wanted Spock to follow his teachings, as Sarek followed the teachings of his own father.
They are both stubborn.
A human trait, Captain.
Bridge to Captain Kirk.
Excuse me, my dear.
Kirk walks over to a small monitor and flips it on.
Gordon Ramsay here. I mean Kirk here.
Uhura appears on the screen. Captain, I've picked up some sort of signal. Just a few symbols. Nothing intelligible.
Source.
That's what bothers me, sir. Impossible to locate. There wasn't enough of it. Sensors show nothing in the area, but it wasn't a strong signal, as though it was very close.
Go to alert status 4. Begin long-range scanning. Clean the kitchens. Cook out. Chef's log. Stardate 3842.4. The Interplanetary Conference will consider the petition of the Cordon planets, maybe the Cordon Bleu planets, to be admitted to the Federation. The Cordon Bleu system has been claimed by some of the races now aboard our ship as delegates. Races who have strong personal reasons for keeping the Cordon Bleu out of the Federation. The most pressing problem about the Enterprise is to make sure open warfare doesn't break out among the delegates before the conference begins.
We focus on the lounge. People of all shapes, sizes, and colors are helping themselves to drinks and nibbles from buffet tables. The outfits are all very interesting.
Mr. Ambassador, I understand you had retired before this conference was called. Forgive my curiosity, but as a doctor, I'm interested in Vulcan physiology. Isn't it unusual for a Vulcan to retire at your age? After all, you're only 102.
102.437 precisely, Doctor, measured in your years. I had other concerns.
Ambassador.
Kirk and Sarek turn to be greeted by a couple of stout men with porcine noses.
Sarek a Vulcan. Do you admit Corridon to the Federation?
The vote will not be taken here, Ambassador Gav. My government's instructions will be heard in the council chambers of Babel.
No, you mean Babel. You. How do you vote, Sarek a Vulcan?
A tall, thin man with blue skin, white hair, and two antennae walks over after hearing the shouting.
Why must you know, Tellarite? In council, his vote carries others. I will know where he stands and why.
Tellarites do not argue for reasons. They simply argue.
No, you!
Gentlemen, Ambassador Sarek is quite correct when he points out this is not the correct chamber of Babel. Let me make you a most amazing pork shoulder. And then I also want to point out I'm fully aware that the admission of the cordon bleu is a highly debatable issue, but you won't solve it here.
Ah, so it's Babel like baby bell cheese. I see. You are correct, Captain. Quite logical.
My apologies, Captain. You will excuse me.
The two Tellarites walk away.
Have you met Gav before, Ambassador?
We debated during my last council session, Ambassador.
We focus on Amanda, McCoy, and Spock, who have been listening from the other side of the room.
Ambassador Gav lost.
Spock, I've always suspected that you were a little more human than you let on. Mrs. Sarek, I know about the rigorous training of the Vulcan youth, but tell me, did he ever run and play like the human children, even in secret?
Well, he did have a pet Sailot he was very fond of.
Sayla?
It's sort of a fat teddy bear.
A teddy bear?
Sarek walks up before Spock can answer.
Excuse me, Doctor. It has been a rather long day for my wife, Captain.
Ambassador.
Sarek holds up 2 fingers, and Amanda presses 2 fingers against them. He leads her away. McCoy has not given up.
A teddy bear?
Not precisely, Doctor. On Vulcan, the teddy bears are alive and they have 6-inch fangs.
McCoy looks surprised. Kirk is amused.
Bridge to Captain Kirk.
Kirk walks over to the intercom panel on the wall.
Kirk here.
Captain, sensors are registering an unidentified vessel pacing us.
On my way. All duty personnel on yellow alert. Don't alarm the passengers. Gordon Ramsay out.
We focus on the bridge. The view screen is on and we can see spinning lights. Kirk and Spock enter. Kirk heads over to Chekov while Spock goes to his science station.
Report.
A small ship, Captain. It's been there 5 minutes, remaining outside phaser range. At extreme limit of sensors.
Identification, Spock.
Sensors indicate the size of a scout ship. The configuration is unfamiliar, most unusual.
Does she answer a hail?
I've tried all frequencies and hooked in the universal translator. No response, sir.
Maintain translator broadcast. Check records for authorized ships.
Starfleet records, no authorized vessel in this quadrant except ours.
Care to guess who she is?
Yes, Captain. I shall need more data for my estimate.
Mr. Chekov. Plot course to intercept that vessel. I want to see what she looks like close up.
Hi, sir.
We focus on Sarek's quarters. Sarek is seated, Amanda standing beside him.
You embarrassed Spock this evening. Not even a mother may do that. He is a
He's
Vulcan.
also human.
He's a Hell's Kitchen sous chef.
I thought you didn't approve of Starfleet.
It is not a question of approval. The fact exists he is in Hell's Kitchen. He must command respect if he is to cook and function.
You're proud of him, aren't you? You're showing almost human pride in your son.
It does not require pride to ask that Spock be given the respect which is his due. Not as my son, but as Spock. Do you understand?
Not really. But it doesn't matter. I love you anyway. I know, it isn't logical.
Sarek and Amanda finger each other again. We focus on the bridge. The main crew are at their stations.
Vessel changing course. Heading towards us at warp speed.
Ready, friars.
Friars armed and ready, sir.
The spinning lights on the view screen. The spinning lights on the view screen whizzes past them.
Interesting. They were traveling at approximately warp 10.
You can't cook that fast. That's going to ruin the meat. Back on course, Mr. Chekov. Report on intruders' movements.
Captain, Starfleet acknowledges report on our situation and confirms no authorized Federation vessel in this quadrant.
Back on original heading, Captain. The intruder changed course immediately after we did. It's paralleling us again.
Well, we have a shadow. Faster, more maneuverable, and unidentified. Sous-Chef Spock, full analysis of sensor readings. I want to know how hot we're cooking things. I want to know who that intruder is.
We focus on the lounge. Gav, the Tellarite, is sitting alone at a table drinking. Sarek enters and walks over to the buffet table. He surreptitiously takes a pill out of his tunic and swallows it with a drink.
Vulcan, I would speak to you.
It does seem unavoidable.
How do you vote on the Corridon admission?
That is cordon bleu. You seem unwilling to wait for the council meeting, Ambassador. No matter, we favor.
You favor?
admission.
Why?
The room goes silent and the other delegates turn to listen.
Under Hell's Kitchen law, cordon bleu can be protected and its wealth administered as well as its food for the benefit of its
Not
people.
well for you. Vulcan has no mining interest.
Cordon bleu has nearly unlimited wealth of their lithium crystals, but it is underpopulated and unprotected. This invites illegal cooking operations.
Illegal? You accuse us?
Some of your ships have been carrying cordon bleu dilithium crystals.
You call us thieves?
Gav attacks Sarek, who shrugs him off easily.
Gentlemen, whatever arguments you have about the cordon bleu between yourselves is your business. In Hell's Kitchen, I run the red side and the blue side simultaneously. And as long as I command Hell's Kitchen, there will be order, you donkey!
Of course, Captain.
Understood. There will be payment for your slander, Sarek!
Threats are illogical and payment is usually expensive, including the food at cordon bleu.
Gav leaves. We focus on the corridor. The Tellarite is hanging upside down from a Jeffries tube. A security officer comes across him and checks his pulse. He walks over to an intercom.
Security to Captain Kirk.
We focus on Kirk's quarters. He's not wearing a shirt.
That's why I picked Gordon Ramsay, Kirk here.
Lieutenant Joseph, sir. I'm on the deck 11, section A3. I've just found one of the Tellarites murdered. I think it's the ambassador himself, Chef.
We focus on the corridor. McCoy is examining the ambassador.
How was he cooked?
His neck was broken by an expert.
Was he filet mignon? Or was he fried? Explain.
Well, from the nature and location of the break, I'd say the killer knew exactly where to apply pressure to snap the neck instantly.
Who would have this kind of knowledge? Maybe a chef?
Vulcans. On Vulcan, the method is called Tal Shaye. It was considered a merciful form of execution in ancient times.
Spock, you're a sous chef. A short time ago, I broke up an argument between Gav and your father.
Indeed, Captain. Interesting.
Interesting. Spock, do you realize that makes your father a most likely suspect?
Vulcans do not approve of violence.
You're saying he couldn't have done it?
No, Captain. I'm merely saying it would be illogical to kill without reason.
But if he had reason, could he have done it?
There were a reason my father is quite capable of killing. Logically and efficiently.
We focus on Sarek's quarters. Kirk, McCoy, and Spock enter. Amanda is there alone.
Mrs. Sarek, my dear, I'm sorry to disturb you. I must speak to your husband.
He's been gone for some time. It's his habit to meditate in private before retiring. What's wrong? Spock?
Sarek enters.
You want something of me, Chef Captain?
Ambassador, I want to cook you the most amazing pizza, but you need to give me the time. The Tellarite, though, Gav, has been murdered.
His neck was broken, Mr. Ambassador, by what Spock describes as Tal Shaya.
Indeed. Interesting.
Yes, Ambassador, what were you doing the past hour?
Captain, you're not accusing him.
Mother. If only on circumstantial evidence, he is a logical suspect.
I quite agree.
Then, what were you doing the last hour?
In private meditation, Chef Captain, Spock will tell you that such meditation is a personal experience not to be discussed, especially not with Earthmen chef.
That's a very convenient excuse. Maybe we should have you do a punishment, like shuck 10,000 clams. Ambassador.
Sarek suddenly collapses.
No!
Sarek, what's wrong?
It's difficult to say with Vulcan physiology, but I believe it's something to do with his cardiovascular system.
Can you help him?
I don't know that yet either.
We focus on the bridge. Spock is at his station, analyzing.
Sous Chef Spock.
Yes, Captain. I get the sensor readings of titanium from the alien ship's hull.
I'm sorry about your father.
Yes, it could adversely affect our mission.
Aren't you worried about him?
Worry is a human emotion, Captain. I accept it would happen. Ship's hull seems to have a high density level where it is cloaked against sensor probes. It is manned, but the sensors cannot make out specifics.
I see. Well, the Romulans have no taste for culinary cuisine and nothing like it. Certainly not the Federation or the neutral planets. What about the Klingons?
I think it is unlikely it is one of theirs.
Who then?
Captain, I picked up the last part of a transmission, just like that other one. I put the recorder and the directional locator on it immediately.
Cook, Mr. Chekov. Directional locator indicates source behind 27 Mark 8.
It's the intruder ship, sir.
It's the Sherp. Switch
Yeah.
recorder to Mr. Spock's station for decode, Lieutenant.
Sir, the directional locator indicates reception point somewhere within the body of this ship.
Personal receiver? Somebody on board is in contact with that vessel?
Possibly, Captain. I cannot decode this transmission.
Why not, you donkey?
It is in no known code. There's no detectable pattern. No standard reference is applied.
Okay, I'm sorry. Are there any conclusions from this information?
Only negative. It fits none of our computer records, and it is alien.
Murder. Someone out there playing tag. Lieutenant, you've got your sensor locator on a wide beam. You've established a receiver on board this vessel. Tighten your field to the interior of the ship.
Yes, sir.
If that alien vessel starts transmitting again, I want to know who is on board the Enterprise and who is receiving it.
We focus on sickbay. Amanda is there, standing vigil over her husband. McCoy is examining him. Kirk and Spock enter.
Bones, how is he?
As far as I can tell from instrument readings, our prime suspect has a malfunction in one of the heart valves. It's similar to a heart attack in a human, but with Vulcan physiology, it's impossible to tell without an operation. Mrs. Sarek, has he had any previous attacks?
Yes, there were 3 others. My physician prescribed benzidrine for the
Why
condition.
didn't you tell me?
There was nothing you could have done.
Ambassador, don't make me throw you in the blue kitchen. When did you have these attacks?
2 before we left the Vulcan, the 3rd a few hours ago. I was on the observation deck, observing some delicious food. Oh, when the Telerate was murdered, I was quite incapacitated.
Was it the most amazing pork belly? Were there any
yeah.
witnesses?
None.
Doctor, do you propose surgery for the heart defect?
I'm not sure. It's tough enough on a human. On a Vulcan, ordinary operation's out of the question.
Why?
Because of the construction of the Vulcan heart.
I suggest that a cryogenic open heart procedure would be the logical approach.
Yes, unquestionably.
Bones, what about it?
Well, I'm glad somebody's asking me something around here. Well, the procedure they're discussing would require tremendous amounts of blood for the patient.
Doctor.
Yes?
Yeah, okay. I checked the blood bank and, don't get mad, but we're super low on Vulcan blood right now.
There are other Vulcans on board who eat the most amazing Vulcan cuisine.
My blood type is T-bone negative. Somewhat rare. Even for a Vulcan.
Yes, I'd say that's rare.
My blood is T-bone negative too, Doctor.
Yeah, I love that idea for you, but your blood is also human.
It should be possible to filter out the human factors.
Even you couldn't give that much blood, Spock. It would kill you.
Bones.
Mrs. Sarek, you must understand the chances are extremely small to find a way to produce sufficient T-bone negative blood.
Indeed, I would estimate the odds.
Please don't.
We focus on McCoy's office. McCoy hands a microtape to Spock. He's got dozens more scattered across his desk.
Doctor,
I see it, Spock, but that was a Rigelian.
Rigelian philosophy is similar to Vulcan.
Similar is not good enough. It's still experimental.
But it does look promising.
Spock, we would need such great amounts of T-bone negative blood. Even if the drug worked on the Vulcans as well as a Rigelian, which I'm doubtful, it would still drain Sarek to a critical level.
I consider the safety factor low, but acceptable.
Plus the fact I've never operated on a Vulcan before. Oh, I've studied the anatomical types. I know where all the organs are.
Amanda enters McCoy's office.
But that's a lot different from actual surgical experience. So if I don't kill him with the operation, the drug probably will.
What drug, Doctor? My husband is asleep. What drug?
A chemical stimulant to speed up reproduction and replacement of blood in the body. It's only experimental.
It has been used successfully on test subjects on Regal 5.
It places a tremendous strain on the spleen and the liver. In Sarek's condition, the stimulant would kill him.
Nurse Chapel, I underwent a physical examination last week. Would you pull those records, please?
Yeah, so I already pulled those records, and you're so perfect, Mr. Spock.
What has that got
You're
to...
going to use it on yourself. A transfusion from you to your father.
It would only seem to be the logical answer.
It could damage you internally. It could kill you. I'm sorry, Spock. I can't sanction it.
And I refuse to permit it. I won't risk both of you.
Then you automatically condemn Sarek to death. And you, Doctor, have no logical alternative either. If you do not operate, Sarek will die. You now have the means to perform the operation. I am volunteering myself as the blood donor. I'll be at my station until you require me.
Spock hands the microtape back to McCoy and leaves. We focus on a corridor. Kirk is in the middle of a vigorous fight with an Andorian. The Andorian is getting his ass kicked, but he pulls a knife and stabs Kirk. This barely phases Kirk as he kicks the Andorian and knocks him out. Kirk stumbles over to a wall, hand on his back. When he pulls his hand away, it's covered in blood. He hits the intercom.
Bridge to Spock.
Spock here.
I'm on deck 5, near my quarters. I've been attacked by an Andorian with some really bad kitchen knives. Security! Security team!
Kirk passes out.
Captain! Captain! Captain!
I'm passed out.
Captain's log. Stardate 3843.4. First Officer Spock in temporary command. The captain has been critically wounded by one of the delegates to the Babel conference. The ship is on alert status. We are still being followed by the intruder vessel.
We focus on sickbay. Kirk is laying on a bed. Spock is getting an update from McCoy. Nurse Chapel is in the back, monitoring Sarek.
It's a bad wound. Punctured left lung. Centimeter or so lower to have gone through the heart.
I'll be in debris, questioning the Andorian prisoner.
Doctor, this little dial thing here, it's dropping.
McCoy and Spock head over to Chapel and Sarek.
Spock, your father is much worse. There's no longer a choice. I have to operate immediately. We can begin as soon as you're
No,
prepared.
My
What?
first responsibility is to the ship. Our passenger safety is by Starfleet order of first importance. We are being followed by an alien, possibly hostile vessel. I cannot relinquish command under these circumstances.
You can turn command over to
Grounds
Scotty.
doctor. Command requirements do not recognize personal privilege. I'll be in the brig interrogating the Andorian.
We focus on the brig. The Andorian that Kirk fought is in a cell. Another Andorian is speaking with Spock.
Here's Thelev, a minor member of my staff. I know nothing of him except that he has served adequately.
He has been subjected to questioning under skin and shoot drug. He reveals nothing. I suggest his mind has been so conditioned as part of preconceived plans.
My people are a violent race, but we had no quarrel with Captain Kirk.
Apparently, Thelev did.
You suggest a plot, but how could it profit us to harm the captain?
I do not know. There is no logic in Thelev's attack upon the captain. There is no logic in Gav's murder.
Perhaps you should forget logic and devote yourself to motivations of passion or gain. Those are reasons for murder.
We focus on Spock's quarters. The door buzzes impatiently.
Come in.
Amanda enters.
Spock, you must turn command over to somebody else.
Mother, when I was commissioned, I took an oath to carry out responsibilities which were very clearly and exactly specified.
Any competent officer can command this ship. Only you can give your father the blood transfusions that he needs to live.
Any competent officer can command this ship under normal circumstances. The circumstances are not normal. We're carrying over 100 valuable Federation passengers. We're being pursued by an alien ship. We're subject to possible attack. There has been murder and attempted murder on board. I cannot dismiss my duties.
Duty? Your duty is to your father.
I know, but this must take precedence. If I could give the transfusion without loss of time or efficiency, I would. Sarek understands my reason.
Well, I don't. It's not human. That's not a dirty word. You're human, too. Let that part of you come through. Your father's dying.
Mother, how long have you lived on Vulcan? So long, married to a Vulcan, raised a son on Vulcan without understanding what it is and mean to be a Vulcan.
If this is what it means, I don't want to know.
It means to adopt a philosophy, a way of life, which is logical and beneficial. We cannot disregard that philosophy merely for personal gain, no matter how important that gain might be.
Nothing is as important as your father's life.
Can you imagine what my father would say if I were to agree? If I were to give up command of this vessel, jeopardize hundreds of lives, risk interplanetary war, all for the life of one person?
When you were 5 years old and came home stiff-lipped, anguished, because the other boys tormented you, you saying you weren't really Vulcan, I watched you, knowing that inside that human part of you was crying, and I cried too. There must have been some part of me in you, some part that I can still reach. If being Vulcan is more important to you, then you'll stand there speaking rules and regulations from Starfleet and Vulcan philosophy and let your father die. And I'll hate you for the rest of your life.
Mother?
My life.
Mother?
Oh, go with him now, please.
I cannot.
She slaps his face and storms out. We focus on sickbay. Kirk is waking up.
Dr. McCoy?
I'd like to get my hands on the guy with that sledgehammer.
Aw, that's so cute. No, you were stabbed, silly.
The one inside my head. How long have you?
He tries to sit up and fails.
Now, let that be a lesson to you. Just lie there and be happy you're still alive.
How's Sarek?
Not good. If I could only
What's
operate.
stopping you? I thought you were all ready.
I was when you became injured. Spock assumed command. He's going to stay there until you're back on your feet, even if it costs Sarek his life.
I can't
Regulations.
damn you for his loyalty, for doing his duty, but I'm going to let him commit patricide.
Kirk begins to slowly get up from the bed.
Jim, if you stand, you could start to
Bones.
bleed again.
Sarek will die without that operation, and you can't operate without transfusions from Spock, my sous chef. I'll convince Spock I'm all right and order him to report here. As soon as he leaves the bridge, I'll turn command over to Scotty and report to my quarters. Will that fill your prescription? Dash of salt, little pepper.
We focus on the bridge. Spock is in the captain's chair. McCoy and Kirk enter from the turbo lift.
Season done.
Captain?
I'll take over, Mr. Spock, my sous chef. You report to the mess hall, with Dr. McCoy.
Captain, are you quite all right?
No.
I've certified him physically fit, Mr. Spock. Now, since I have an operation to
Get
perform
out,
and both of us
Spock.
are required.
Get out!
Spock looks suspicious. Kirk attempts to play it cool.
I mean, Chekov, what's the status of the intruder?
No change, sir. Maintaining its distance.
Spock continues to watch Kirk.
He's a big 325 degrees. Any further transmissions, Lieutenant?
None, sir. Spock seems satisfied and leaves the bridge with McCoy.
Call sous chef Scott to the bridge.
Captain, the alien vessel is moving closer.
Belay that order. I'll stay here. I am the chef.
Captain, I'm picking up the alien signal again. It's coming from inside the Enterprise.
Specific origin.
From the brig, sir.
Security. Security to the brig. Search for the prisoner immediately.
We focus on sickbay. Spock and Sarek are laying next to each other, a large transfusion machine between them. Spock's green Vulcan blood can be seen flowing through the tubes. Spock is awake, but Sarek is anesthetized.
Yeah.
Greetings,
so
nurse.
Mr. Spock's blood reproduction rate is way up, and Sarek's heart is beating like a lot.
I wish I knew whether that was good or bad. Thank you. Initiate sterile field.
Mr. Spock.
Spock starts to get up.
Where do you think you're going?
I must see the captain.
My patients don't walk out in the middle of an operation.
The alien ship just realized that if the power utilization curve is not the norm, it should be possible to identify them this way. Very important.
Chapel shoots him with a hypospray and puts him to sleep.
So is your father's life.
We focus on the brig. There are 2 security guards in the Andorian's cell. One is patting him down. The Andorian doesn't like this. He turns and knocks the security officer across the cell. The second guard stuns him with his phaser. As the Andorian hits the floor, one of his antennas breaks off. A small chip falls out. The security guard picks it up and goes over to an intercom. We focus on the bridge. Kirk is sweaty and not looking good.
Kirk here.
Whoa, I have another scene. All right, security here. We had to stun the Andorian. He had some sort of a transceiver. It was hidden in his antenna.
Captain, the alien ship has changed course and speed, moving directly towards us at warp 8.
First, make calamari out of the antenna. Season, fry, bake, done. Bring the prisoner to the bridge. Deflectors on. Red alert. Phasers, stand by to fry on my order.
Aye, sir. Shields on. Phasers manned and ready, sir.
Are you ready to fry, Chekov? Take over Spock's scanners.
Aye, sir.
The little spinning lights flashes past them and the Enterprise shakes. We see Sarek and Spock get jostled about mid-surgery. McCoy is not happy.
Time to medium rare, Mr. Chekov.
Moving away. Turning now. He's coming around again.
I said how long? Fires as he passes, Ensign.
A clean miss, sir.
Report on his knife work, Mr. Chekov.
Sensors record standard knives, sir.
Standard fire's good. They may have more speed, but they're not giants.
Captain, the intercoms are jammed. All the ambassadors are asking what's going on.
Tell them to take a good guess and clear that board. Add salt, season, Lieutenant.
Aye, sir.
He's coming around again.
We focus on sickbay. The patients are jostled about some more. McCoy is still not happy.
One more like that, and I'm going to lose
Spock
both
has
these
woken
men.
up. We focus on the bridge.
Fire control locked into computers, Captain.
On my order, fry potato tamales 2, 4, and 6. Wide as possible, Scatter.
Fry, sir.
Fry!
Full spread missed, sir. They're moving too fast for us.
The alien vessel attacks again. We focus on sickbay.
Doctor, are their hearts supposed to beat like the whole time?
Yes, I think so. Cardio stimulate, will you, nurse?
Spock is watching what is going on just as another attack hits.
Yeah, like I would, but the systems are off.
Then get me that old portable
She
cardio
fetches a
stimulator.
hand-sized device from a trolley.
Call engineering and have sickbay systems put on priority. Actually, never mind. I'll do it. I think maybe they get the picture clearer if
We
I call.
focus on the bridge.
Number 4 shield has buckled, sir.
Fry the auxiliary power.
Switching over. Shields firing up. Number 4 is still weak, sir. If they hit us, there again, it'll go all together.
We focus on sickbay. They've gotten their power back. McCoy is pleased. The surgery continues. We focus on the bridge. Thelev is brought in by security. He has a good look around.
Your chefs out there are good. They'll have to destroy this Hell's Kitchen to win.
That was intended from the beginning, Captain.
You're not an Andorian. You don't make good calamari. Who are you?
Damage reports coming in, Captain. Every deck.
Damage control procedures. All decks. Make sure you wipe down all the kitchens. That ship out there has fryers. At least our weapons are somewhat alike.
Number 2 shield is gone.
All right, mess hall. This is the captain. Cut power on port side except for fryer banks. At my command, all starboard power. Cut it. Kirk out. Who are you?
Find your own answers, Captain. You haven't long to live.
You're a spy. Surgically altered to pass as an Andorian. Planted in the ambassador's party to use terror to murder and disrupt us. And prepare for this attack.
Speculation, Captain?
Mess hall, cut power on starboard side.
The bridge goes dark.
Maintain until further commands from the chef. Chekov!
Kirk motions to Chekov, who goes back to his own station.
What are you doing?
You speculate.
We're starting to drift, sir. Shall I hold her on course?
No! Stand by your phasers, Mr. Chekov. I mean Friars.
Fry, sir. Friars standing by.
That's right.
He's just hovering out there, sir.
Looking us over. We're dead like a nice piece of pork shoulder, as far as he knows.
You're baiting him. You're trying to lure him in.
Here he comes. Range decreasing. Speed dropping close to sublight.
Hold your fire, Mr. Chekov.
Friars locked on target. Range closing. 75,000 kilometers.
Fry!
They watch the view screen as the alien vessel is incapacitated.
Got him!
Secure from general quarters.
The bridge lights come back up.
Lieutenant, open the hailing frequencies if they wish to surrender.
A very big flare on the view screen makes everyone shield their eyes.
They could not surrender, Captain. They had orders to self-destruct.
We focus on sickbay. Sarek's vital signs are strengthening. Spock and Amanda look relieved. We focus on the bridge.
Lieutenant, relay to Cordon Bleu Command. Tell them we have a prisoner.
Fry, sir.
Only temporarily, Captain. You see, I had the orders to self-destruct too. Slow poison. Quite painless, actually. But there's no known antidote. I anticipate another 10 minutes of life.
Take them to the most amazing restaurant on the Upper West Side.
Oh, I seem to have miscalculated.
He dies with the security guards holding his arms.
So did they. Mr. Chekov, take over.
So we're just letting ensigns run the bridge now? We focus on sickbay. Kirk enters.
Bones.
Are you quite through shaking the ship around?
Spock. Sous Chef Spock. Sarek. How are they?
I don't mind telling you. You sure make it difficult for a surgeon trying to...
Bones!
Captain, come in.
They go through to the ward.
That pig-headed Vulcan's stamina. I couldn't have pulled them through without it.
Some doctors have all the luck.
Captain, I believe you'll find the alien with pie on his face.
We damaged the ship. They destroyed themselves to avoid capture. Bones. Thales' body will be brought to your lab. I want an autopsy performed as soon as possible. Maybe make some calamari as well.
I think you'll find he's Orion, Doctor.
Orion?
Intelligence report that Orion smugglers have been raiding the Cordon Bleu from our kitchens.
Oh, but do they have calamari? But what would they gain by an attack on the main restaurant in New York? Starfleet.
Mutual suspicion and inter-kitchen war.
Kitchen nightmares. Yes, of course. With Orion carefully neutral, they'd clean up, supplying dilithium to both sides, and then continue the raid on the Cordon Bleu.
The thing that confused me was the power utilization curve. It made them seem more powerful than a starship or anything known to us. That ship was constructed for a suicide mission. They intended to come in once, have a fantastic meal, and never return to their home base. They could use 100% of their power on these attacks. The thing I don't understand is why I don't think I thought of this earlier.
It might have been the most amazing pork shoulder you had earlier. You might have had something else on your mind.
That hardly seems likely.
No, but thank you anyway.
And you, Sarek, would you also say thank you to your son?
I don't
For saving your life.
understand. Spock acted in the only logical manner open to him. One does not thank logic,
Logic.
Amanda.
I'm sick to death of logic. Do you want to know how I feel about your logic?
Emotional, isn't she?
She has
Indeed,
always
why did you
been
marry her?
that way. At the time, it seemed the logical thing to do, and she was quite ambitious.
Amanda begins to look upset, but then laughs lightly and fingers Sarek.
Bones.
Kirk starts to collapse. McCoy and Nurse Chapel begin to take him over to a bed.
No. I'm all right.
If you keep arguing with your kindly family doctor, you're going to spend your
Place
next
Kirk
10
onto the
days
bed.
right here. If you
Doctor,
cooperate,
I
you'll be
think
out
I'll
in
return
two.
to my station now.
Spock begins to get up, and McCoy stops him. He has a face like thunder and yells at Spock.
You are at your
Dr.
station, Mr.
McCoy,
Spock.
I believe you're enjoying all this.
Indeed, Captain. I've never seen him look so happy.
Spock and Nurse Chapel look shocked at the
shut up.
outburst. Kirk begins to speak, but McCoy isn't having any of it.
Shh.
Kirk stops, closes his mouth, and lays his head on the pillow. Everyone in the room just stares at McCoy. McCoy is amused.
Well, you know, I finally got the last word.
And yes, that concludes our reading of Star Trek: The Original Series, Journey to Babel, or whatever pronunciation you prefer. Let's jump into it.
It's a good restaurant.
Baby Bell cheese. It was. Okay, very interesting. Let's break it all down. First, let's.
You look so defeated.
First, let's bring in Jeff Mater, who was our Captain Kirk a la Gordon Ramsay tonight.
Hello, Dave.
Yes, you were trying to cook my Andorian characters into calamari.
Yes, I think they would have, if you just flour, dust, and add seasoning, they would make the most delicious calamari.
Because our antenna was reminding you of tentacles, I suppose.
Yeah, I kind of went with it. What do you think?
Yes. Also bringing in I don't know. I never know here, but behind me we have Jane Mater over my shoulder here, who was playing the role of Amanda Grayson. Also, let's bring in Commander Spock, Tom Mott Tyrell, or sous chef Spock, as he was more tonight. Very great job. And you of course played Spock before, but this was a bit of a different story where he's torn between family and duty. And cooking. and the most amazing meals.
His T-bone negative blood.
His
Most
T-bone negative blood,
negative
which was a pretty funny bit.
Most amazing pork shoulders.
Also bringing in, we had Michael Chan and Jessica Chan. Michael Chan fingering each other.
They're fingering each other.
Yes, that's what you do. That's how you show love in the Vulcans, right? So so Michael Chan is Sarek and his Lieutenant Joseph's, and then Jessica in the role of Dr. McCoy. Great job, both of you. There was a lot of fun all around. I especially liked I always like the improv with Michael and Jeff. That was good. And then lastly, we have Ashley and Kevin Millard. Kevin Millard in the role of Chekov, and also as the Valley Girl Chapel.
Oh my
that was
God,
that was
so
that,
good.
that was really good with how like I think I'll
hilarious.
call engineering myself.
Yeah.
So that was quite something. So you've done this a few times, Kevin, where you change the character, and then I'm like, if there's like a sound effect that has to come right over, I'm like, is he done talking? Like, because the words you're saying don't match the words on the page. So I'm just like, I think he's done. Play the sound. And then Ashley, you were of course our narrator and the hangar deck voice, and more notably Lieutenant Uhura as well. And I think that was everybody. I was a few characters as well. Is Jeff still there? I don't know if we.
Guess not.
Well, the Leafs. He's probably checking.
Want to
the
make
Leafs.
pizza again?
Okay, so yeah,
He
he's
is
frying.
frying.
The cordon bleu. The cordon just became the cordon bleu. Yes, it's,
Bleu.
did everyone have fun?
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
good.
that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was funny.
That was
I will
hilarious.
be. I'll create an edited version of this one as well. I just removed Jeff. Whoops. Well, I hope he wasn't planning to come back. We'll see. Anyway, Jeff, improving. That was happening. I don't have a segue. Help me out here.
Just plug your stuff.
Just
Yeah.
We've
What
had some
shows do
fingering.
you
Now it's time to
have?
plug your stuff.
Yeah.
Dave.
Segue.
We go from the fingering to the plugs.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what?
and show. Now add.
Now at the show.
Seg-
Okay. Well, hey.
add.
So that's our next. That was our most recent reading of Star Trek Radio Theater. As mentioned, this was our 40th reading. We'll be back in a week or so to do Star Trek: The Next Generation. Jody Simpson's been petitioning us to come in for an episode, and I think that's on the docket. So we're looking at I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's a Q episode with Robin Hood and the Merry Men and different things in it. So we're going to be looking at that episode next. We're all going to get turned into Robin Hood characters. That should be a lot of fun, and always fun to bring in for a Q themed episode. We were going to do the Squire of Gothos tonight, but it was just like with 8 actors, there was no way to give everybody even a little bit, because that particular story is only about 4 people.
Yeah.
So when we have a smaller cast, we'll probably dust that one off and do it. But this one worked better, I thought, tonight. I thought there was all the different characters going on. Scotty got mentioned a lot tonight, but he doesn't actually appear.
He's not in it. No.
He's not in it at all. But where's Scotty? Get Scotty down here. Do something with Scotty. Scotty's not even here this week.
Scotty wasn't there, and they left the bridge in control of Chekov.
Yeah, wouldn't you, Uhura,
Jensen Chekov.
outrank
Right?
him?
Like she definitely outranks him.
She definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Scotty doesn't know, so.
I
Yeah,
was gonna make that
True.
joke.
Scotty doesn't know. Scotty knows. I'm Dr. Evil. Okay. Anyway, so then we'll be back for the next edition of Radio Theater. Also on Tuesdays, we do Star Trek Deep Space Nine rewatches, where we're going through every episode in order, going into the next episode, which is called something about prophets or something. What's it? Doesn't matter. Anyway, check it out.
But
It's a Ferengi episode.
Yeah.
It's a Ferengi episode. We're doing it Tuesday at 9. Check it out.
Profit motive.
Profit motive.
I think so. It's got Grand Negasek in it.
Yeah, we're doing Zach's in it.
Yeah.
Wallace Shawn. So check that out. Wednesday, we continue our mission to watch every original series episode, not in order, with our dad, with Jeff and I's dad, Ted. We only got about 20 left. We're getting there. We just did this last week. We did Dagger of the Mind. And the next episode we're going to be doing is called The Cloud Minders, which is apparently they go to Cloud City or something. And then we have our other channels, which is one is called Super Mario Brothers Podcasting. Jameel Robinson and I just finished 10 weeks of Big Brother Canada Season 9 coverage over there. We've also done Survivor. We've also done Westworld and Netflix shows like Tiger King and The Serpent and a few others. So amazing. Thank you, Jessica. Yes. Check out our podcast.
Well, I didn't know you did Tiger
Once
King.
upon a
I was like,
time.
oh, crap,
That
I
was
don't
in
know
the
if
early
totally
days of our podcast. Yeah.
I
And our
would've
third
listened
channel,
to
which
that.
is called Trivial Debates, which we have our next episode coming up this Sunday, not tomorrow, but the following Sunday, Sunday, May 30th, 2021 at 11 a.m. We have Jody Simpson hosting this next edition. And look at this panel. We got Jameel Robinson. We got Kevin Millard. We got Adam Woodward. This is going to be spicy. Right, Kevin?
Of course. It's always
Yes.
spicy.
Thank you. So check that out on our third channel, Trivial Debates, next Sunday, May 30th, for our May edition. Okay. Well, hey, I think I'm going to get off the air so we can relax and have a little bit of an after show. But great job, the whole cast tonight. I always remember this, the one where we were trying to fit food puns into all of our lines. So I think that's it, right? Good job, Jane.
Yeah.
I'm not used to you being behind me like that. It's a little weird to like kind of look at my camera and then she's behind me over my shoulder. But that's not weird. Okay.
Cinnamon
No weirder than
banana.
fingering your wife.
if we do that.
There you go.
There you go.
It's
Yeah, that's what you do. That's how you show love. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. And thanks for listening out there and all the likes and comments and subscriptions and all those things. Okay. Until